Hello. This is my resubmission for the Identity Project. For this one, I will be doing Francesca Caccini. Before we talk about Francesca Caccini, we need to go over the concerns with women's music before 1750. The main thing is that just women and their music was very marginalized. You have fantastic musicians that were women. Francesca Caccini, which we'll obviously talk about more in just a little bit, and Hildegard von Bingen, which we discussed in the book. Another one that my buddy's doing, I don't remember her first name, but I know her last name is Asandra, I think. All these women have fantastic accomplishments. They could be considered pioneers even for music, but they just get glossed over by the men of this time, which is a shame because, man, some of the women's music is, I mean, just as good, if not better, in a lot of different ways. But with that, we'll move on to just talking about Francesca Caccini. Francesca Caccini she was born in September 18th, 1587 in Florence, Italy, and died June of 1641 in Florence. She was a composer and a singer, and she, unlike a lot of women in this time era, actually was able in her life to have her compositions published. We'll talk more about her accomplishments later, but she was the daughter of her father, Giulio Caccini, and he was a noted composer of opera and song, which is why Francesca basically followed in his footsteps. She also grew up with a sister whose name was Settimia, and their father introduced them to the musical world of Florence, Italy. Her and her sister helped her father along in a lot of productions and compositions, and they sang in a composition of their father, which was called Le Eurydice. And she also, in another one of her father's songs, sang in Il Rapimento di Cefalo. But after these, a little later in her life, Francesca Caccini joined her father in employment at the Medici court. Now, if you don't know, the Medici family was like the most known, the most prominent, the highest class family of Italy, I believe, and so it was a huge deal working for them, especially in music. Francesca Caccini was trained in voice and a bunch of instruments, but her main focus was to perform and to teach singing to other court members from just about every social class, but usually through the higher ranks because the Medicis. One of her most famous, yeah, we'll talk about this. We'll go on to the next slide then, which was her accomplishments. The first accomplishment we'll go through right now was that she was the first woman composer in opera, which is huge. Obviously, the first person to do something in their field is considered a pioneer, and for her to do that is a huge step for not only women, but the musical era, or especially in this time. Really making her dad proud. Another big accomplishment, I just put making money. And the reason why I put that is because she's had so many publications and so many famous pieces that, and working for the Medicis too is another huge feat of accomplishments. Unfortunately, a lot of her works did not make it all the way till today. A lot of them have been lost in whatever, just normal aging. But one of her publications that did survive, which is arguably one of her most notable publications, was her madrigal, which is called Il Primo Libro delle Musiche. It served for both artistic and pedagogical purposes, and it offers a glimpse of her methodologies as a teacher. The book goes on and on to discuss, musical genres and different types of text and notation. But another big thing that she did was she implemented a lot of ornamentation in her compositions. You'll get a little listen at that during the recording that I have for this. But the book got a lot of attention, obviously, and is still noted as like a very high scholarly achievement today. Sorry, my laptop is lagging a lot right now. Come on. Okay. So, with all of her accomplishments, obviously she made a lot of music. So I picked out a piece of music that she wrote, and it is called, I'm going to butcher this, but it is called Lasciatemi Chi Solo. So I will play that right now for you. You hear that ornamentation. So the instrument that she's playing, I believe, is a lute, which is a type of string instrument. Yeah. Obviously, like I said, she played many more instruments, and they go from guitar to lute, which she's playing here, harp, and keyboard. So we'll stop it there. The reason why I played it out for so long is because I wanted you to get a feel for how much she actually used ornamentations. I mean, it's in like it's in every phrase, if not almost every bar. She uses, I'm not going to demonstrate it because you don't want to hear that, but she used a lot of it, especially in the ends of phrases or bars. But yeah, with that, my conclusion of all of this, of the research and everything that I've done for this resubmission, is that like women, they obviously did a lot for the musical world. A lot of them are pioneers of certain things in music, and Francesca Caccini is one of the greats. Obviously, like, she's done a lot, especially in opera music. So it's definitely something that we need to talk about more. But that's going to be my project. Thank you. Oh, and the bibliography you maybe see at the end.